shown you city life, nightlife, and the culinary scene here in San Miguel de Allende. And now it's time for nature. I have a story to tell you. All we wanted was a beautiful evening in nature, but we never expected to get lost in the mountains. The plan was simple. Visit our friend's ranch just outside of San Miguel de Allende, hike to a secret waterfall, and then finish the night with an evening barbecue. What could go wrong? So we arrived to our friend's ranch around 4 o'clock. Now, our friends are Mexican and they've owned this land and their family for over 100 years. So we felt very confident in their abilities of showing us how to get to that secret waterfall. So we decided to invite some friends. We invited friends from the UK, from the United States, and they're adventure-seeking families. So we knew they'd be up for something that was a little off the beaten path. So we grabbed our water bottle. I even left my cell phone behind because our friend told us, oh, the hike's an easy hike, about 20 minutes up, 20 minutes back, no big deal. So we also had a range of people from the age of about 50 down to about 4 years old. So we had quite a variety of people. So we get to what appears to be the trailhead. There's a rock wall that keeps the cattle in from leaving the mountain range. So we all start to hop over. The kids are elated. Everyone's so excited to be out in nature because something about San Miguel is that it's surrounded by mountains and beautiful nature, but it is just raw land. So you really need to know someone to be able to take you out and show you a path or a trail. So we get out there and the spiders are everywhere, beautiful large orb spiders. We saw wildflowers of every different kind. And even the path that we thought would be a designated trail was covered with wild grass that had overgrown from the rainy season. So there were stones underneath the grass. So we had to be very delicate as we stepped, as we still watched and enjoyed nature. But as I mentioned, we had people of all different ages. So our path was quite slow. We had to walk at a good pace. And so what turned out like 20 minutes had passed, I kept asking our friend, hey buddy, how much further? He said 20 more minutes. So very culturally funny. Our friend also was able to enjoy a couple shots of tequila before we went on the hike. So he was feeling really great, and he brought a couple other friends to help us with machetes to cut down the branches because it really was wild. At this point, we're about an hour and a half into our hike and we still haven't reached the waterfall. But the sun is slowly setting over the mountainside. The crisp air of dusk is just so fresh. And we reach this dam that has a crystal clear reservoir. And my boys were starting to get hungry. So we decided to stop, enjoy the scenery, give my boys a little snack, enjoy some water. But half of the group wanted to keep going on to the waterfall. And our friend, of course, kept saying, just 20 more minutes. So we split up. Half of the group went to walk to the waterfall as we stayed back with our boys, just enjoying a little snack. Well, after about 25 minutes, we still hadn't heard from our friends. And we hear in the distance that half of the group that went up to the waterfall starts coming back down. And they said, we were a little bit nervous, the sun is really starting to set, and we still hadn't reached the waterfall. So by this time, those friends said, let's just head back. We said, you guys go ahead, we'll be right behind you, and we'll be able to get down the trail before the sun completely sets. Now our large group has split into 3. Boy Scout rule number 1, never separate from the group. So panic starts to set in because it's starting to get darker. We haven't heard from our friends that went to the waterfall, and now our other friends are quite ahead of us. So we start walking down the trail with our boys, and we very quickly realized there is no trail. The machete that had cut down the trees and the grass really just kind of bounced back up. The grass was hiding where we had walked. So we decided to play it safe and just stop. We stayed put. We were lost. As panic started to sink in, I start shouting our friends' names, Jamie, Tiffany. About 15 minutes into shouting, I hear the sound of boom, 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 some reggaeton. Our guide Hugo had his little speaker and he's coming down the trail as happy as can be. There was not a care in the world. Nothing was wrong. So I said to Hugo, I said, what happened? Where have you guys been? He said, we found the waterfall, no problem. We're Mexican now. Mexicanas never turn back. So we started following Hugo. By this point, it's pitch black and we're still missing some of our friends. So the light of our flashlights on our cell phones are lighting the path and we begin shouting for our friends, Chris, Tiffany. And in the far off distance, we see little lights flashing. Turns out they had used their cell phone lights just as we were, and they had waited for us, and our shouting called them towards the path. They had walked all the way down the riverbank, and they knew they'd gone too far. So we reunited, and praise God we found our friends. I never thought I'd be so excited to see a rock wall in my life. We climbed over that wall that kept the cattle in, and we could see the ranch house lights in the distance. As we walked closer, we could smell the barbecue, just fresh with steaks, and we had delicious avocado, guacamole, tortillas. And as we sat around that table, we talked about our adventure. We talked about the beautiful things that we saw and the conversations that we had while on the hike. But we learned some very valuable lessons that day. We learned that you should start your hike earlier than expected because it will always take longer. You need to take headlamps and make sure you stay within earshot of your group if you tend to walk a little bit off of the trail. So stay tuned for next week because we will be on more adventures here in Mexico.